Welcome to a continuation of a deeper dive into the Technoprogressive Roadmap for the UK. This video starts to look at the two goals for 2035 in the sphere of increased international flourishing. These two goals are a goal for a reduction in the threat of military conflict and a goal for improved freedom of travel. Goal 7 is that risks of international military conflict will have been reduced by at least 90%. Goal 7 can be seen as an international version of Goal 6. Both these goals address the risks to human flourishing from violence and other crime. Goal 6 is for a 90% reduction of crime at local and national levels. Goal 7 considers the threat of violence and warfare at the international level. In a world with ever more people having access to ever more powerful weapons, escalating conflict could bring civilization to an end. Alongside possible attacks from other countries, we also need to consider threats from terrorist groups, international crime syndicates, and other sub-state organizations. These groups may initiate actions for reasons we would judge to be deluded, misinformed, hasty, suicidal, or mad in some other way. It would be like a repeat of the cascade of unintended consequences that led Europe in 1914 into the horrors of the First World War, following a period in which many people thought, wrongly, as it turned out, that large-scale war had become a thing of the past. However, the increased spread of nuclear technology, chemical weapons, biological pathogens, and cyber attack capabilities means that a similar cascade of actions in our time could have consequences that are even more devastating than the carnage of the First World War. One response to the threat of attack is to increase spending on defence budgets. Unfortunately, this would mean that significant portions of national resources are tied up in military forces, preventing their deployment on other uses that would be more productive. Moreover, when a potential attacker perceives that it is facing stronger defences, it can prompt further spending on increased aggressive capability, ratcheting an arms race. Therefore, any short-term perceived gains in security would likely be illusory. It would be far better to de-escalate current and future threat situations through measures to build and sustain mutual trust. That is what the Technoprogressive Roadmap envisions. One factor that can reduce pressures towards conflict is an increased general understanding of the scale of abundance that lies ahead as humanity takes fuller advantage of green technologies, nanotechnology, robotics, artificial intelligence, and other technological breakthroughs. These technologies have the potential to allow every person on Earth to have a significantly higher standard of living than was available even to royalty only a few decades ago. This understanding should reduce the pressures on different groups to compete against each other for a larger slice of the pie. The pie will be large enough for everyone. However, the mere fact of material abundance is insufficient by itself to prevent conflict and strife. There are other causes of conflict, including differences in ideology, inertia from runaway arms races, the perception of inflammatory insults, and other aspects of emotional immaturity. These are all factors that need to be handled better. Happily, these are all factors that can be handled better via technoprogressive initiatives. Multilateral institutions can help counter these forces, but today's United Nations and related organizations are falling far short of their potential in this regard. These organisations need rejuvenation, starting with an update for the documents that define their purpose and operation. This refresh will clarify the potential beneficial role of the United Nations and related organisations in the world of the 2020s and beyond. Regular exchanges between members of different groups from around the world, if skillfully facilitated, can also play an important role in deepening rapport and building trust. In the past, these exchanges involved international travel, but technologies such as immersive video conferencing can produce similar results at much lower costs. These online gatherings can and should be extended to help more people escape from the mental shackles of constricting ideologies and backward-looking groupthink. As in the case of Goal 6, the reduction of crime by at least 90%, success with Goal 7 will require improved systems of trustable monitoring. This can include improved AI systems that highlight potential aggressive intent or potential pathways of unintended conflict escalation. Again, as for Goal 6, these systems will need to become above suspicion, being respected by all parties. If their design and operation is transparent, such an outcome is more likely. Note that there can be agreement on at least some elements of trustable monitoring between groups that harbour considerable suspicion and antagonism towards each other. Consider how all commercial airliners contain a black box recording device. Rather than regarding this device as snooping, members of the airline industry understand the benefits to everyone from good records being made, which can be consulted in the event of airplane accidents in order to improve aircraft safety. International agreements on air traffic control meet the same general pattern. Likewise, the organisation of international post, international sports competitions, and lots more besides. To accelerate progress, 2 targets for 2025 are proposed. The first target is to agree basic principles of the design and operation of systems for international trustable monitoring. The second target is to establish a commitment from all countries in the United Nations to an updated version of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which takes fully into account the remarkable transformational nature of the technologies highlighted in this Technoprogressive Roadmap. It may take some time, subsequently, for this commitment to be backed up by action, but an agreement on basic principles will at least provide a start. See other videos in this series for more information about the Technoprogressive Roadmap, published by the UK's Transhumanist Party.